Very pleased to be joined by singer-songwriter Aysanabee on tour right now. You're in Fredericton. First of all, thanks for joining us. What can you tell us about the tour that you're currently on with Allison Russell?
Yeah, it's been an incredible experience. Like getting to know Allison, getting to know the team. We started in Vancouver, went to Vancouver Island, and then we were coming all the way across the entire country. But obviously, we weren't able to play the prairies. We ended up getting snowed out. I think we were like 100 kilometers from Saskatoon, and we had 2 hours before doors, and just kind of had to call it. Like you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you in the car, and so it's like, Allison had the, you know, for those who know her know that like she really cares about everybody, and it's like it's one thing for us to make it there, but then for people to come watch the show and then have to like drive home in that afterwards. So we weren't able to do that show. Weren't able to do Winnipeg because the snowdrifts were just crazy. Like there's snowdrifts up to my waist, and like they don't have to put snow tires on rental vehicles anymore. So I was just like driving through these snowdrifts on the highway, and then the snow would like shoot up into the air and just be on the windshield for like 4 seconds. So it was quite a drive, and like I think that was a little nerve wracking because I was driving behind the bus with John, and I'm just like, man, we did not dress for this weather. That's another thing. I was like, we go in the ditch, like, oh man, we got snacks, but we don't have good jackets.
You'll be cold, but you won't be hungry, but you might be cold.
Yeah.
So I know you've got a show coming up in Halifax. What can you tell us about that real quick?
Yeah, it's it'll be good because like I think there's a lot of friends in town for the Junos. It's kind of crazy. Like I remember going to the Junos like what was it 2 years ago, and like we weren't nominated. We just bought tickets and went, and like it was. I remember just like looking around and seeing so many people and be like, "Wow, I like listen to you on my streaming account," like, and so like it's so interesting to go there and like know that so many friends that I've made over the last 2 years are going to be there. So that's kind of really nice to kind of have this sense of community. And but it's like the Canadian music industry is so small, and it's like everyone's always like ships in the night. So like events like these is when you can kind of like get together and reconnect. So.
And you won't have to buy a ticket for the Junos this year, at least not for yourself. Nominated for 3 Junos. I want to get all these right. You're nominated for Songwriter of the Year, Contemporary Indigenous Artist or Group of the Year, and as well, Alternative Album of the Year. So congratulations on the 3 nominations. What does it mean to you?
Man, it means so much because like I don't know who sits on these boards and like who are the juries and the grand juries, but like I know that they're my peers, right? So I know that like I might be talking to some of them every once in a while or something, like so it's like for the music community to kind of like come together and like do the initial vote for like the quota, the kind of like the long list and then the short list, like I mean, it really kind of fills the cup to know that my peers find what I'm doing like worthy of these nominations. So like I think in that, like, I have such gratitude, but also like the work starts now, like it's one thing to get the but once you get the nominations, you're like, oh man, because it's like, it can be like a really big kind of springboard for your career. Right. So it's like, so now that these people found me like worthy enough to get the nominations, now I got to kind of, I want to honor that by like kind of, having this opportunity kind of help my career kind of continue to grow and I don't know. And I'd hope to be able to do the same thing for other people too, and kind of now that people have opened this door for me to kind of like hold it open for other people. So
yeah, send the elevator back down, as they say, for those that are coming up behind. And, when you look at the categories that you're nominated for, it may give a glimpse or insight into your music. Certainly Indigenous Artist or Group of the Year and Alternative Album of the Year. But for people that may not be familiar with the music of Aysanabee, what would you like them to know?
Yeah, I grew up I grew up playing music, and I was always so I was always kind of shy with music, but I think it's I moved to Toronto to play music, but then ended up getting a job as a journalist. So like journalism and music always kind of were kind of always in two different lanes. So I guess with the first record I put out, like it was a combination of them both, and it was like storytelling and music and kind of journalism and music, and so it's kind of it was a huge kind of concept record, and the EP I put out was kind of in kind of a concept as well, but like obviously it was an EP because man, we were just on the road like nonstop. Like it was kind of crazy, kind of uh, trying to find time to do all the things. That's one thing because I was trying to do it all. So we'd be like, touring, and then it would be like, oh, we got a half day off back at home, so we might as well like off into the studio and trying to finish this part of the song and stuff. So yeah, all the songs I write like are for me I always have to be kind of something very kind of personal and something I'm connected to. So like I know some people can just like kind of make up a story and sing about it, but for me, like it's music's always been an outlet and kind of a way of me kind of processing my world and my own kind of inner thoughts and feelings. So like I think that kind of reflects in the music.
You've got a very rich tone and a recognizability about your voice. One of those voices that you could just close your eyes and just hear it and immediately go, oh, that's Aysanabee. When did you know that you could sing and that this was something that you could do for potentially a career and a life?
Oh man, I mean, people say that and people just assume that but like honestly, I still kind of get this imposter syndrome. I'm still kind of like, how am I doing this? How do I get to do this? And it's so wild. So like, thank you for that. Like I like, I mean, I go out there and I just, I think I just kind of scream into a mic and I just kind of like put it all on the table and kind of like, all that kind of feeling and emotion and thought and pour it all out there. So yeah, like I don't know how it works, to be honest.
Well, I can tell you for me personally, you've got a beautiful voice, very easy to listen to, very listenable. Could listen to multiple tracks back to back to back and not get tired of the tones of Aysanabee voice. I want to get just quickly as well. The Junos are coming up. That's obviously a big couple of days for you with the nominations, but then afterwards, a trip to Estonia and then to the UK. Just what can you tell fans about that, and how can they find out more?
Yeah. So both of those are kind of these music conferences, right? So it's kind of like South by Southwest, kind of like Canadian Music Week kind of stuff. So it's like, here's one thing I always like for people trying to like get into music and trying to like break into the scenes and stuff like that. It's like I wish someone told me about these music conferences when I was just like setting up uh, shows at any bar that would have me and like booking vans and putting together a poster, and you're just hoping someone would walk through the door, right? Like, so these music conferences like the one I'm going to in Estonia, it's like these kind of world like artists from all over the world kind of gather, and then like industry from the regions come there and they watch these showcases, and you go there and you meet like different bands, you meet different agents, you meet different promoters, different people who book festivals in different parts of the world, all the people that you would hope just would walk through the door at some random spot you're setting up a show. It's like these music conferences, you're playing to potentially rooms full of those people. So yeah, like going to Estonia to like I'd personally never been there, so like we're going to Tallinn for Tallinn Music Week, and it's like I think one of the oldest cities. Um, it might be I don't want to misspeak, but it's a very like ancient city, and like where it's like all this massive castle, and so I'm gonna try and like take in as much as and learn as much as I can about kind of the region and the people there, but yeah, we're going there to just kind of to kind of make connections and build bridges and get some Indigenous voices over on the other side of the world too.
Yeah, that's very cool that you're able to do that. Who did you listen to when you were younger and growing up?
Oh man, I mean, I think the first person I really got into in a big way was Bob Marley. But then, once I moved into the city and started getting exposed to a lot of different music, um, yeah, like I would listen to a lot of whatever my brother was listening to. So, like, my brother gave me a lot of music to listen to and a lot of hip hop because, like, my brother was a hip hop artist, and so I listened to like a lot of like MF Doom. I don't know if you've listened to MF Doom, but he like wears that mask and
Yeah, I know.
um,
I know from my 18-year-old daughter.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know, my taste kind of float around. I find myself really gravitated towards female vocalists for some reason. Like it's just like they have such a thing, like the melodies and the range and the textures and tones. I really like kind of. I'm trying to think of some artists I listened to growing up. And I keep now that I said that I'm thinking of like Matt Corby and I'm thinking of and
That's a perfect live stream interview moment right there. That is perfection. I love that.
that's funny.
Who was that?
That was Elena, who's plays keys for Allison. So there were like there's like a bunch of random rooms, and I feel like we all just kind of like, ooh, what's in here? What's in here? I'm not sure if we're supposed to be here, but cool. Um, but
Well, you
yeah,
just go back to the female artist, and it's interesting too because you're speaking of female voices. Nelly Furtado, one of the
yeah.
co-hosts of the Junos, so that'll be pretty cool. We'll wrap up with you here in a second, but again, just to the Junos are coming up, but again, just for the next couple of days, what dates are you playing and where, and how can people get out and see you?
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, tonight we're in Fredericton. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 19th, we're playing over in Moncton. Sorry, I'm pulling up my schedule right now. They can go to my website and see, but also, yeah. So the last few shows of the tour, like we're playing Halifax on Thursday at the Lighthouse, which is I'm really excited to play that venue. I've heard really great things about it, and then we're ending the tour in Lunenburg, which I guess is like an hour and 30 outside of Halifax.
And beautiful.
Yeah, so it'll be like I think a nice spot to kind of like wrap up the tour. To be honest, like I think it'll be like a really good like vibe before it like gets into the madness that is the Junos.
Yeah. Well, Aysanabee, thank you so much for taking time to spend with us here at SaltWire and for our audience. And congratulations on those 3 Juno nominees. That's fantastic. And we wish you luck. And we're looking forward to and we're excited to welcome you here to Halifax.
I'm excited to come back. I really love that city.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.